Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. The royal guards looked at the 450-foot thousand realms whirling avatar that had not been seen since 2,000 years ago. Under the sunlight, the golden astrolabe spun, causing people to shudder. The 36 triangles on the astrolabe would flash from time to time. A sage-like old man standing near the avatar looked down at Xiaohoshang in front of the Supreme Heaven Palace. Xiaohoshang stared at the thousand realms whirling avatar with wide eyes. The last bit of doubt in his heart had vanished without a trace at this moment. Even if he had high status and commanded 100,000 royal guards, there was only one thought in his mind at this moment: run. Swoosh. Xiaohoshang did not care about his reputation at all. He fled at lightning speed, leaving afterimages behind. On the contrary, the two death warriors by Xiaohoshang's side did not run. They advanced after crying out in unison, "Lord Xiaoho, run!" The two death warriors hurriedly manifested their avatars. Two 100-foot red lotus avatars appeared in the sky and charged forward. The two avatars that were only a quarter of the height of the thousand realms whirling avatar looked incredibly tiny. Zhou did not even want to look at them as he charged forward. The eyes of the two death warriors reddened as they began to burn their seas of qi. However, before they could do much, Zhou casually pressed his hand down, launching two golden palm seals from the sky. Abandon wisdom. At the same time, the two 8-leaf cultivators chose to commit suicide by detonating their energies. Boom. Boom. Ding. Killed a target. Reward, 500 merit points. Domain bonus, 500 points. Ding. Killed a target. Reward, 500 points. Domain bonus, 500 points. The ground outside of the Supreme Heaven Palace was paved with the best marble. At this moment, nothing was left except for two 100-foot-long palm-shaped holes. In the centers of both holes was a lump of fleshy pulp. With a flash, the thousand realms whirling avatar disappeared. With such a big commotion, the experts in the royal palace rushed over immediately. In Great Tang's royal palace, the experts were as numerous as the clouds in the sky. When these experts came to the side of the two holes, they were disgusted by the remains they saw inside. Even these cultivators who killed without batting an eye could not help but frown when they saw this scene. Meanwhile, Zhou flew at low altitude with his thousand realms whirling avatar in tow. He was inwardly surprised by Xiaohoshang's speed. He continued to fly, not paying any attention to the eunuchs and palace maids in the royal palace. Everyone who saw the thousand realms whirling avatar, regardless of age or gender, fell limply to the ground and trembled in fear. Some palace experts who came gave up immediately when they saw the thousand realms whirling avatar. Many of them were convinced the rumors that Yu Qinshu was killed by a thousand realms whirling expert was true at this moment. Zhou looked at the ghostly figure fleeing from him and brought the golden Taishu mirror out. He shone the mirror on the figure. A beam of light shot out and illuminated the figure immediately. Through the golden Taishu mirror, Zhou saw a black shadow on Xiaohoshang's body. The puppet slave technique? Was it a puppet that was skilled in escaping? If Yu Qinshu's puppet was good at defense and was invulnerable to swords and spears, then Xiaohoshang's puppet moved like the wind and the shadow. Xiaohoshang trembled. He looked at his puppet that was revealed under the beam of light and was frightened out of his wits. Quick! 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 Zhou shook his head slightly. If he continued forward, he would leave the range of the royal court. He came to an abrupt stop. At this moment, many people outside of the royal court could see the top of the thousand realms whirling avatar at this moment. Zhou raised his left hand. In the next moment, Unnamed appeared in his hand. With just a thought, it transformed into a bow. When he was at the 10-leaf stage, Unnamed's power was comparable to flood-grade weapons. Now that he had grown stronger, Unnamed's power would only increase and not decrease. Zhou held the bow that was twice the height of an adult and knocked an energy arrow with his right hand. Both the bow and arrow were much thicker than those he used in the past. Whoosh! The energy arrow whistled in the air as it shot out. Its tip shone with a blue light after it had been imbued with the supreme mystic power. It only took him one breath to complete this series of actions. He watched the arrow sail in the air. Meanwhile, the sound of wind whistling in the air caught Xiaohosheng's attention. As he frantically ran for his life, he felt chills on his back, so he turned to look. A godly archer? However, a joyous expression appeared on Xiaohosheng's face when he saw the palace wall in front of him. Contrary to expectations, he did not jump over the wall. Instead, he brought his puppet with him and ran into the wall. A grid-like formation lit up on the wall. Whoosh! In just a moment, an opening appeared on the wall. Just like that, Xiaohosheng passed through the wall that was dozens of feet thick and appeared outside the wall. The opening closed, and the formation flashed once more. Xiaohosheng said ecstatically, "I'll be the first person to escape from 1,000 realms whirling expert." Just as he turned around to look at the towering palace wall. Bang! He turned around and took a glance at the towering city wall. The energy arrow pierced through the wall that was dozens of feet thick and destroyed the formation on it. The energy arrow accurately pierced Xiaohosheng's heart without any deviation in its course. Xiaohosheng's body stiffened as he grunted in pain. A dumbfounded expression could be seen on Xiaohosheng's face as he stared at the hole in the wall. He could even see the Supreme Heaven Palace through the hole. How was this possible? What kind of arrow was this? After a moment, Xiaohosheng lowered his head and looked at the arrow sticking out of his chest. He could feel his life draining from his body as blood flowed out. At the same time, the blue light on the tip of the energy arrow that stuck out of Xiaohosheng's back disappeared. On the other hand, the energy arrow did not disappear. Run, run, run! Xiaohosheng desperately urged the puppet in his body. Alas, there was no movement from his puppet at all. An indescribable fear welled up in his heart at this moment. The puppet is dead? Xiaohosheng did not know how this was possible. If the puppet is dead, why was he hurt? Nevertheless, he still felt like he had a breath left in him and wanted to escape. At this moment, Lu Zhou's indifferent voice rang from above. "No one can escape from me." Ding! Killed a puppet. Reward, 6,000 merit points. The puppet was different from the birth chart. Puppets prolonged their masters' lives, making their masters durable. However, faced with absolute strength, even if the puppet sacrificed its life, it would not be able to absorb all the damage. Blood continued to gush out of Xiaohosheng's wound as he looked at the sage-like old man standing on the palace wall. Lu Zhou withdrew the 1,000 realms whirling avatar before he struck with his palm. The scripts for abandoned wisdom appeared around fingers before a dazzling golden palm seal shot out. Boom! It did not fall to the ground but shot forward at the height of an adult. A wave of energy swept across the nearby buildings. Fortunately, there were not many people around. Nevertheless, the huge commotion drew many Red Lotus cultivators over. They watched the commotion from afar as they discussed among themselves. Naturally, none of them dared to get closer. Who's that old man on the palace wall? There's someone on the ground. No, wait, there are two people on the ground. At the same time, Lu Zhou thought the palm strike would definitely kill Xiaohosheng's life. When the dust settled, he looked down. A person was standing next to Xiaohosheng at this moment. He stood with his hands on his back, and a smile appeared on his face as he said, "We meet again." Lu Zhou saw the other person's appearance clearly. He was not too surprised. Apart from Yiyao, who could have blocked the fatal palm strike for Xiaohosheng? Yiyao was dressed in another black robe. One of his hands was raised, his palm facing the sky. His other arm was broken. At this moment, the energy arrow lodged in Xiaohosheng's chest finally dissipated. A joyful expression could be seen on his face as he clutched his wounded chest and kneeled on one knee. "Thank you for saving my life, Lord Yi." As expected, Yiyao was colluding with the people in the capital. Lu Zhou was not surprised. He looked at Yiyao and Xiaohosheng calmly. The energy arrow was just slightly lacking. Otherwise, it would have been able to kill two people at once. It could only be blamed on the puppet for having too much life. Nevertheless, this was just a small test of the supreme mystic power. With that energy arrow, Zhou gained a rough estimation of the supreme mystic power. Meanwhile, Yao glanced at Xiaohoshang and said, "You're really useless. You can't even dodge this arrow? To think that I even gave you the puppet. Lordy, I." Scram, Yao barked. Xiaohoshang's injuries were so severe that he could barely walk. He could only slowly drag his body to the side. Zhou stroked his beard as he looked down at Yao and said, "Yao? I didn't expect to see you here. I'm very pleased." It was indeed a pleasant surprise. Zhou was worried he would not have enough fun testing the supreme mystic power just a moment ago, after all. Yao retracted his arm and asked, "Since when did those with 2 birth charts become so audacious?" Zhou said, "It seems like the lesson I taught you previously wasn't enough." Yao retorted, "I was just careless at that time." Zhou said, "I destroyed one of your birth charts, you only have 4 birth charts left. How can you be a match for me? 4 birth charts are enough to deal with your 2 birth charts. There's no way you'd be able to use the Scarlet Pheasant's life heart yet, in the end, you still have to return it to me." Zhou shook his head and said evenly, "Stupid." Yao frowned. "You called me stupid?" Zhou looked down from above as he stroked his beard. "You don't want to go to heaven but insist on barging into hell. Stop putting on airs. If I don't take your worthless life today, I won't be able to get rid of the hatred in my heart. Since you destroyed one of my birth charts, I'll destroy all of your birth charts." Yao said menacingly. Bang. Yao stomped his feet fiercely before he shot up into the sky toward Zhou, who was standing on the palace wall. Upon seeing this speed, the cultivators who were watching from afar widened their eyes in shock. Meanwhile, more and more cultivators had arrived at the Supreme Heaven Palace. The members of the Evil Sky Pavilion, Li Yunzheng, and the civil and military officials had arrived in front of the Supreme Palace Heaven as well. All of them saw the 2 palm-shaped holes on the ground, and the lumps of flesh in the holes, causing them to shudder. At this moment, Gui Zhangping, the Grand Tutor, asked in confusion, "What's Senior Lu doing?" "Is there a need to ask? Senior Ji is obviously capturing an assassin." "You really don't know anything," Zhenghai Jian, who was holding his sword, said. "Eh? Why is a commoner here? Stand back. The palace experts will keep you safe." "By the way, it's Senior Lu, not Senior Ji," Gui Zhangping said. Yes. On the other hand, Li Yunzheng, Yu Zhenghai, Yu Shangrong, and Si Wuya, who were at the front, watched as Yao rushed forward. When Yao was in front of the palace wall, he struck with his palm. Zhou met Yao's attack with a single hand. Bang! A golden and a black palm seal collided. Almost everyone cried out in surprise. Black Lotus! Black Lotus! There was a huge reason the civil and military officials had come to support Zhang Yuan'er. It was the hidden Black Lotus domain. Although there were rumors of a Black Lotus Thousand Realms whirling avatar appearing at the Skywheel Mountain range, no one dared to bring the matter up in the political announcement hall. Who would have expected a Black Lotus cultivator would still show up in the end? Grandmaster Li Yunzheng said worriedly. "Don't worry." Si Wuya turned and looked around before he called out, "Eldest senior brother, second senior brother." Yu Zhenghai and Yu Shangrong nodded before they walked to the sides. Meanwhile, Zhou did not use the supreme mystic power to deal with Yao's attack. He only fought using his cultivation base. After the collision of the palm seals, Zhou shot up into the air when he felt a huge force sweeping toward him. Buzz. Buzz. The 2 opponents manifested their avatars at almost the same time. The Golden Thousand Realms Whirling Avatar was about 400 feet tall, while the Black Thousand Realms Whirling Avatar was about 450 feet tall. Upon seeing this, everyone grew excited and felt their blood boil. However, those with keen eyes wore worried expressions on their faces. They could clearly see the difference in the size of the astrolabes and the number of birth charts. Based on these 2 factors alone, it was clear the Black Lotus cultivator was stronger. Yi Yao flew higher into the sky after his palm seal deflected Lu Zhou's palm seal. Everyone held their breaths as they watched. They had never seen such a spectacle. How rare was it to be able to witness the clash of 2,000 realms whirling avatars? They could hardly tear their eyes away from such a scene. At this moment, Yao frowned. 3 birth charts? How did you do it? How could Yao not be surprised or confused that Lu Zhou managed to use the Scarlet Pheasant's life heart? If you promise to kill yourself, I'll answer you, Lu Zhou said as he flew backward. Unfortunately, the birth charts are still not enough, Yao said as his eyes glinted. In the next moment, his primal chi surged and formed a dome. Lu Zhou wondered where Yao got his confidence to appear in front of him again. He did not dwell on the matter for long before he said, "Go." Lu Zhou's hand shone with a blue light before he pressed his hand down using the supreme mystic power. "You're too arrogant." Yi Yao immediately felt a heavy pressure like that of Mount Tai bearing down on him. That oppressive feeling he felt in the cave under the Skywheel Rift Valley appeared again. Most importantly, that oppressive feeling seemed to be even more domineering and fiercer than before. Bang! Yi Yao had learned from his mistake. Even then, as he pushed his palm out, he was still pushed down. His speed when falling was like that of a shooting star. Boom! Yi Yao landed on the ground heavily, stirring up a cloud of dust. Meanwhile, Lu Zhou slowly descended. The force of this palm strike was only slightly more than the force he had used when firing Unnamed that had transformed into a bow earlier. He found the result rather satisfying. Yi Yao looked up and said, "That was a good trick." At this moment, Xiaohosheng cried out, "Lord Yi, be careful." Lu Zhou said nonchalantly, "Yi Yao, in my eyes, you're already a dead man." "Is that so? Try and kill me then." Yi Yao suddenly made a grabbing motion with his hand. With this, Xiaohosheng lost control of his body and flew over immediately. He cried out fearfully, "Lord Yi, what are you doing?" When Xiaohosheng was in front of Yi Yao grabbed Xiaohosheng by the neck and stomped on the ground again before shooting back up into the sky like earlier. The difference was this time he brought someone else with him. When he was high up in the air, the astrolabe at the back of his avatar that had also flown up with him began to spin. Huh? Lu Zhou frowned in confusion. He did not understand why Yi Yao brought Xiaohosheng up to the sky. Nevertheless, when he saw triangles on the astrolabe begin to light up, he did not hesitate and increased the output of the supreme mystic power. The Great Dark Heaven Palm. At the same time, a beam of dark light shot out of the black astrolabe. The 10-leaf Xiaohosheng, who was already severely injured, was racked with excruciating pain at this moment. "Go!" Yi Yao cried out as he pushed Xiaohosheng out. Boom! After the beam of light shone on Xiaohosheng, he collided with the blue palm seal and exploded into a blood mist instantly. Ding! Killed a target. Reward, 5,500 merit points. Domain bonus, 1,500 merit points. Yi Yao frowned. Something seemed to be suppressing the beam of light from his astrolabe. Then, he looked at the blood mist, perplexed. He had used his birth chart power to boost Xiaohosheng's strength. Moreover, as a 10-leaf cultivator, Xiaohosheng was not weak to begin with. Faced with Lu Zhou, Xiaohosheng should have been able to stand his ground or have the upper hand. At this moment, Yi Yao felt a sense of danger radiating from the blood mist. Then, he saw a blue palm seal sailing out of the blood mist, blocking the beam of light from his birth chart power. All the beam of light managed to do was slow the palm seal down slightly. This is bad. Yi Yao discovered Lu Zhou's blue palm seal was much stronger than the one before. The color was much darker than before as well, just like the color of the sky. He was puzzled, how did it become so powerful in such a short time? Yi Yao was about to dodge when he realized to his horror that the palm seal had suddenly increased in size. Boom! The palm seal landed on Yi Yao. He did not even have time to dodge. The Great Dark Heaven Palm stuck to Yi Yao's body. At the same time, Yi Yao's 1,000 realms whirling avatar began to shrink rapidly before merging with him. A loud heart-wrenching cry that was brimming with reluctance and resentment ripped out of his throat. Ding. Destroyed 1 birth chart. Reward, 6,000 merit points. Boom. The palm continued to press down before it smashed on the ground, stirring up a huge cloud of dust again. The cultivators watching from afar held their breaths as they looked at the huge palm seal in shock and disbelief. Most of them were confused. No matter which angle one looked at it, it was clear the Black Lotus cultivator was stronger. However, why did the old man seem to have the upper hand all the time? The palm seal really taught the Black Lotus cultivator a lesson. Li Yunzheng, whose heart was surging with excitement, exclaimed, "The Great Dark Heaven Palm." The Great Dark Heaven Palm is a special cultivation method that can be used with all kinds of weapons. Your eldest senior uncle likes sabers, so he has modified the technique and adapted it to the saber, Wuya said. When Grandmaster uses the technique, it's like the raging sea, but when eldest senior uncles uses it, it's like a puddle of pee, Li Yunzheng blurted out. Wuya glanced at Li Yunzheng. Li Yunzheng hurriedly slapped his mouth before he said, "I've misspoken. Please forgive me." However, Wuya said, "Although the description is crude, it's accurate. However, remember not to repeat these words in front of your eldest senior uncle." Understood. Zhou slowly landed on the palace wall. He stroked his beard and looked down. He was very satisfied with the supreme mystic power at this moment. That palm strike had directly destroyed Yi Yao's birth chart. After the dust settled, Zhou saw Yi Yao, who was lying on the ground looking at him in disbelief. "You still have 3 birth charts. I'm really curious, what gave you the courage to provoke me again?"